Sensational. Arsenal beat Tottenham in the North London derby 3-1. What an utterly brilliant performance from Mikel Arteta and his boys this afternoon. Nuno facing turmoil at his club. His fans were walking out after 30, 40 minutes into this game. NunoOut is trending everywhere. Arsenal, as I say, sensational today. 3 wins on the bounce. They look very, very good indeed. Strong at the back at times. Scintillating. Cutting going forward. An excellent performance at the Emirates Stadium this afternoon. It truly, truly was. Do me a big, big favor and smash that like button. We've got a poll going right now. Should Nuno be sacked? Should Spurs be looking to sack him right now? Because those players do not look like they're playing for him. We're going to delve into that in a little bit more. We said this a few weeks ago against Norwich. Has Arsenal's season begun? There was a lot of to and fro, and they're up to 10th place now. 3 wins from 3. They're cutting into that goal difference. You know, they're only 4 points now away from the top 4. They're only 4 points away from the Man United and the Chelseas, who were lauded at the start of the season. An excellent afternoon in North London. A brilliant afternoon of football. The Football Terrace is here for you. We've got calls coming. We've got the panel coming later on for you. Smash that like and share button. Get your super chats in as well. You know what to do. Let's get this past 1,000 likes, ladies and gentlemen. No one's going to give you the kind of coverage, the chance to have your say like the Football Terrace does. Spurs fans, are you angry, sad, indifferent? Do you want your manager out? Gooners, I want to hear from you. What do you really feel right now about Arteta? 3 weeks ago, even EGAL was Arteta out. They were all Arteta out. Has that changed? I want your views. I want your opinions. Let's go!
Absolutely magnificent.
Comment straight away here from Chris George. He says, my boy Smith Rowe. Let me just talk for a second here about the young players out there today. The youngsters. And I've got to make a note on this for timestamps. Emile, Smith Rowe and Saka, especially in the first half, were absolutely out of this world. They're 2 players that I rate very highly. You've heard me say that many times. They need the elder statesman around them to stand up. And you had that today. Aubameyang had a good day. Partey was absolutely sensational in the middle. Granit Xhaka, very, very good as well. When your senior players step up, your young bucks with all the talent get the chance to stand up and make themselves be counted. Emile Smith Rowe out of this world. The Croydon De Bruyne, excellent. Bukayo Saka, one of the best young players in European football, gets a lot of stick. He doesn't have any great attributes, doesn't have any great this. I disagree. He is class on the grass in multiple areas, so you don't notice his best attribute. It's a bit like Reece James at fullback. You don't notice how good he is going forward because he's equally as good defending. We have this weird notion now of focusing on somebody's one major asset as opposed to looking at, he's bloody good at everything. And Saka's good at everything. And he stood up today in the most important game of the season so far for Arsenal. So did Emile Smith Rowe, out of this world. C says, Arsenal are back. They are going to win the league. Arsenal fans saying they're going to win the league. They're buzzing right now. And fair play to you today. Today of all days, you can say that and have a bit of a bubble. Arsenal outclassed Spurs. What an amazing performance by Arsenal. Spurs are not a top 6 team, is what Victor Lang has got to say here. Marble Halls TV says, to dare is to do. To dare is to do. 13 league titles. You've only won 2. Kane was missing. All Ali done out here. Arteta out, but he done well today. Emile Smith Rowe, man of the match. Saka, Ramsdale, bossed it. I have to say, I need to address Ramsdale as well for a minute here. I praised a lot of Arsenal signings this summer. I told you Ben White was a lot better than people were making out. Tomiyasu I praised hugely. Lokonga. I thought you wasted money on Ramsdale and you could have spent that on, instead of Odegaard, maybe a Maddison, put it towards that Martinez. Only time's going to tell. But Ramsdale has proven a lot of people wrong. That relegation goalie, not very good. Ramsdale is legit. He is legit a good, very good goalkeeper in the making. So massive praise. That save at the end as well that stopped the game going to 3-2. I don't think Spurs would have come back, but that save in itself was absolutely astounding. The Red Wolf says, what a confidence-building performance that was for Arsenal. And he played good football. Arsenal played excellent football today. Legitimately good football. And that's always key, to play good football, to move the ball well. A lot of people are praising Tomiyasu. Tomiyasu is absolutely astounding today. Absolutely astounding. I've always said he's a good player. Like, rated him for a long, long time now. Long time. Links are going out very soon for you to phone in and have your say. Before we put the links, before we let you call in, let's get this past 1,000 likes. If you want to hear from the Spurs fans, if you want to hear from the Arsenal fans, get it done now. I'm going to have a little sip of my drink here. Sunday football sessions. I've enjoyed it. Sort of. I kind of enjoyed it, and then I realised my team lost this weekend, and it made me feel bitter. I can't help it. I'm a football fan. Terry, what did I say? Your bet went down. My bet did go downhill. I betted 2-1 Spurs with Harry Kane to score any time. Should have scored today, by the way, Harry Kane. Another abysmal performance for Harry Kane himself. Shocking performance from him. No doubt about it whatsoever. Second goal was amazing today. I thought all of Arsenal's goals were amazing. I mean, Saka's is an air of fortune. But in sport, you make your own luck. You make your own luck. And Harry Kane made that tackle, for me, out of frustration. It wasn't really done in the right way. It wasn't calculated right. And it led to Saka going through on goal. And Arsenal deserved it, by the way. When Arsenal were 3-0 up, thoroughly deserved it. And, took their foot off the gas in the second half and everything else. But overall, brilliant. Man like Henry here, with a super chat that's just come through that says Nuno out. I'm not too sure if I've shared the link with Henry. I will send that through to Henry now. I'll go and send that through to him across social media and get him on to have his say. I thought I'd sent it to Henry. He might be busy doing his own thing, but I'm going to send him the link now. Of course, the Spurs fans gave it in the studio Friday. It didn't really go their way. KC says, there are PL and English fans who dare to say Kane is elite. He's overrated loser. He's not fit enough to tie Benzema's, Lewandowski's, and Suarez's shoes. Never was. Overhyped player is what KC has got to say. Ibrahima says Spurs fans are showing Nuno out. No mercy. And I'm going to get onto Nuno myself in a minute before I start bringing the callers through and the panelists on. Odegaard, Saka, Emile Smith Rowe goal. Odegaard, Emile Smith Rowe goal. Okay, yeah. All involved. Yeah, they did very, very well today. Sorry, I was kind of confused by the comment, but absolutely brilliant. On Nuno, let me just say now about Nuno. Let me just say this about him. Everyone knows I've got a bit of a soft spot for Nuno, and that's a personal thing. I've met him. I've spoke to him. I like him as a person. He's let me down as someone who's put faith in his career. I had a conversation face-to-face about how he wants to play football, what he wants to do in England, and that isn't it. He spoke about progressive, open, attractive football winning. So I understood when I saw Wolves play pragmatically at times that he can't go toe-to-toe with Man City. Why would you? You get beat. But I've seen Spurs already this season be passive-aggressive, be too defensive against sides that pound for pound they're as good as. You saw when they went for it towards the end, they put Arsenal on the back foot. Too passive in their approach. Nuno, for me, has already lost the dressing room at Tottenham. Dressing room's already gone. Most amount of shots conceded in the Prem. Less distance covered in the Prem. Goal scoring record in the Prem is awful. Touches in the box is one of the worst. And you can see the body language. The body language of football players is so important. They don't believe in what they're doing. Not today, not tomorrow, not next week. They have no belief in it whatsoever. Daniel Levy, the Tottenham board, have got to take action because it is not going to get any better. It is legitimately not going to get better from here for Tottenham Hotspur because he's lost that room. He's lost the group. He's lost the individuals. He has to be sacked. Some will say it's 6 games in, Terry. You're being hyperbolic. You're being clickbait. You're being the Sun newspaper. I'm not. They do not believe in Nuno. And it pains me as someone that respects and loves Nuno. None of you know what he did for my career. I can't speak about it publicly. He helped me out so much in my life. Legitimately so much in my life. But I have to speak about it honestly. This team isn't bought into him in any way, shape, or form. He has to go. He has to go now. This Spurs squad is still so much better than they're producing. He's got to go. To be honest, I don't feel bad for Spurs. They sacked Poch, they sacked Jose, and they hired Nuno, an inferior manager to both of them. Well, I have no sympathy with Spurs based on that same logic. On that same logic, I have no sympathy with Spurs because it isn't even the sacking of Poch. They went in a new direction. You know, one of the biggest things I criticize the Glazers at Manchester United for, and one of the biggest reasons I'm not 100% entrenched in Ollie out is, who the fuck are my shit owners going to employ next? Going from Poch to Jose and then to Nuno and allowing it to be pragmatic, it's like buying a Ferrari and putting diesel fuel in it. It makes no sense. You're going to break it. You built this squad that was designed to play attractive, progressive, assertive, attractive football. And now you're putting lipstick on a pig. You're putting glitter on a piece of shit and thinking it looks good. It is honestly embarrassing. By the way, Nuno is great. Nuno, this is on your owners. This is on your ball. This is on Daniel Levy. This is a concerted decision. This is a part of your plan is to look like this. Part of your plan. It's not a fluke that you've gone from Poch to two pragmatic managers on the bounce, but you've stepped down. It's honestly awful right now. Awful right now, no doubt about it. We have a super chat here that says Nuno took the job at a bad time. Kane already wanted to leave. The team was burnt out from the Poch title runs. Levy fired Jose based off the pragmatic style. Nuno uses just terrible hiring, and I blame Tottenham. I hear you on that. We're going to go to the calls in just a few moments, please. Make sure you've smashed that like button. Ryan here, one of our members with his member super chat, says more blame goes to the board for me. Why would you hire Nuno and expect different football to Jose? Said this all day long. Very weird. And I hear you on that. Winter Surfer here with his member super chat. Says Spurs playing like they all know he was Spurs' 13th choice manager. Sorry, I misread that. No, you're absolutely right. And that is literally it. They're playing like he's the 13th choice, whatever it was, manager. There's no belief in him. There's no belief. Do you know what I'm saying? There's no belief in it whatsoever. It's terrible. We're going to start going to these calls now. First up, we've got a lot of Arsenal fans backstage. We are going to come to the Arsenal fans to celebrate in their glory, but I need to speak to some Spurs fans first as they were smashed apart today. First up, Patrick's here with us to have his say on the Football Terrace. Make sure like buttons are being hit. Make sure you're subscribing to the Football Terrace. Patrick's here. Let's go. Patrick, terrible performance, even worse result. Give me your thoughts, mate.
Disgusted. I'm embarrassed. I mean, I've got my show later for Views TV Official, and like I said to the boys on Twitter, I almost want to pull a sickie. Like, I don't even know what to say. Like, where do I start? It was just atrocious. The thing is, the lineup was actually good. I like the lineup. But from the first 2 minutes, like Gary Neville said, I could see we weren't in this game. And I believe everything that you said is true. These guys don't want to play for Nuno. I mean, in the summer, I had the Nuno hashtag. I had a no to Nuno. I put it out there a few times and people jumped on me. Oh, Patrick, why are you saying that? You're one of the guys people listen to. You need to be positive. You need to get behind him. He's a good manager. And I've said it to you many a time, Terry. I don't like Nuno. I've never rated him. I don't believe in him. I don't think he's good enough. You've always said that you think he's a good manager. Today showed me he's way out of his depth. You know, he got schooled by Arteta, and I don't even rate Arteta as a manager, but today, fair play to Arsenal. They bossed us from beginning to end, and you can just see the players believe in Arteta. They believe in what he's cooking and what he's selling, and our players just look shot to pieces. Harry Kane is a bum. He needs to fucking sit down. I'm just tired of me. You know, I back Harry Kane. He's one of my boys, but I can't legislate for that, man. He's falling over the ball, giving away the ball in key areas. They don't go and attack and get the goal. Oh, man, I don't even know. My head's scrambled at the moment. I can't even lie.
Mate, listen, I completely and utterly hear where you're coming from. I don't think anything you're saying is out of turn. For me, though, the whole thing is decision-making by your club. Listen, I know what Nuno said to me in a room. I know what he has told me is how he wants to play. He's not doing it at Tottenham. That's first and foremost. Secondly, their decision to I'm going to be blunt. Tottenham lied to Harry Kane. They told him they would let him leave. He said goodbye to the staff and his teammates, and then they pulled the rug from under his feet. You've got a disgruntled... I know he isn't the official captain, but he's one of your leaders. You've got a disgruntled Harry Kane. You've got a manager the players are not believing in, but you've got this talented squad. Yes, there's holes, and it isn't perfect, but you've got this talented squad. For me, this is all 110% on the ownership and the board and the decisions that have been made. Right now, what do you want to see Daniel Levy do to turn this round?
It's so easy for me to say to sack him, but then if we sack him, who do we get in? That's my problem. I mean, in the summer, we were linked to so many good managers, and that's why when we were linked to Nuno, I said no to Nuno, because it was so underwhelming compared to your Pochettinos, your Contes, your Ten Hags, your Nagelsmanns, your Marco Roses. But if we get rid of Nuno, who do we bring in? If we was to go for a top manager who plays attacking football, who believes in youth, who can actually coach, who can bring players through, then I'd say, yeah, go ahead. But right now, who do we bring in? And I even said, if our budget was to go for a Premier League manager who knows the Prem, who can coach, who can bring, then we should have went for Graham Potter all day long. But we didn't. We went for Nuno, who is such a pragmatic, boring, very safety first type of manager. You know, Wolves didn't score. I think they hardly scored any goals in the first half of their games. We're seeing that at Tottenham again. So to be fair, I don't even want to see Nuno get sacked, because where do we go from there? That's my problem. So as much as it pains me to say, I think we should just stick with him. I don't even know, man. I don't know where we go from there, Terry. I don't know. As an outsider, as a neutral, you tell me, because right now I can't lie.
Whenever the way it looks to me is the players are not playing for him. When you have a manager that the players are not bought into, it's only going one way, and that's worse. And it could get, the problem is at this level, it could get go terribly wrong. I would say you've got to find a replacement first. You've got to try and play more attacking football. You know, Arsenal fans have spoke about a certain manager at Brighton that they would like to bring in. Spurs, for me, break the bank, go get Graham Potter. Like, for me, that's what I would do if I was at Spurs' level. I would sack Nuno. I would go and speak to Brighton and say, what is it going to cost to buy him out his contract and get it done? At the very least, if you're not winning more games, you're playing better looking football. And what it also does, it takes away, because listen, I will say this as well now. We'll see what the Arsenal fans have got to say. If I'm an Arsenal fan, I am celebrating tonight. I'm having a drink tonight. I'm having a party tonight. But I'm not suddenly sitting there thinking, Arteta's the guy. So they're going to be on the lookout for managers maybe soon, maybe in the next month, 6 months, year themselves. So why not take away one of the options that a lot of gooners think would be good for them as well? I would try and kill two birds with one stone. Patrick, top call, mate. Thank you for coming on and having your say. Really appreciate it, bro.
Yeah,
cheers,
nice
man.
Thank you. Thank you.
No
I'm
worries,
done
mate.
out here at the moment. I'm finished. I can't even.
I hear you,
I don't
bro.
even want to look at my phone right now. It's
mate,
my
I would
notifications are going off. And
I would turn it off. I'd have a drink. Virgil, whatever that show is called, starts in a few hours. I'd watch that, bro,
mate.
and have a good time. Take care, Patty. Top man. Thank you. Cheers. EGAL is at the Emirates Stadium for us. We're going to bring EGAL on now. I don't know if you saw this from EGAL earlier, but this was him at the third goal.
Tottenham get battered everywhere they go. Tottenham get battered everywhere they go. Everywhere they go. Terry, let's talk about it. We got a lot to talk about today. What did I tell you about our defense? Our defense has gotten better, Terry. We are now starting to build a good defense. The goalkeeper, Aaron Ramsdale, a lot of people were doubting him, but guess what? He's come in and he's starting to make a difference. You can see the moment he gets the ball, the attack starts. Everybody starts pushing forward. Aubameyang's energetic, ready to go. Takehiro Tomiyasu, absolute beast. He did not put a foot wrong the whole entire game. And you know what? When it comes to Spurs, I'm going to tell you right now, Terry, we're going to finish above them this season. We're going to finish above them this season based on what I've seen. We're on an upward trajectory. They're on a downward trajectory. Their players don't want to play for them no more. You can see their new signings are not even cutting the mustard. I got my guy back.
Tottenham pack is, it's beautiful. It's so good. It's so good.
We're smoking the Tottenham pack, bro. We're smoking it tonight, Terry. Tanya, where are you? Tanya, Tottenham Patrick, where are you? You're silent tonight, mate. North London is red. It is red.
What about those guys saying in cement? You know what? Tottenham don't know nothing about winning. They don't know nothing about winning trophies. Even on our worst time, we're still winning major honors. You guys haven't done nothing. You've wasted Harry Kane. You've wasted Son. You've wasted Pochettino's whole legacy at Tottenham. You don't have a legacy. You don't have a future. You don't have a past. You don't have nothing. My whole entire life,
Tottenham will continue to be irrelevant. I'm telling you right now, Tottenham will continue to be irrelevant my whole entire life. You're never going to see a major honor in your whole life. If you win you won't even win the Conference League. Forget about that. Anybody watching this right now, 3-1, and you know what? That's 3 successive games. Tottenham conceded 3 goals. That's 9 goals in 3 games. Tell me who's a better team. Don't talk to me about Tottenham ever again.
I want to ask you a question, Egal. 3 weeks ago, you sat here and you said you were Arteta out. Are you now regretting that, or do you still think Arteta needs to go?
You see where I'm sitting?
Listen, Arteta can only win us games. At the end of the day, I want whoever's in charge to win us games. It's not about Arteta today. Today it's about the team. This is a North London derby. This is bigger than Arteta. This is history. This is our history in the making. We constantly do this.
Okay, so my question is though, do you think Arteta has done enough? Is he turning this around to have a successful season?
No. From back to front. Terry, right now, Arteta can only win as many games and who's in front of him. We have not played the best of best teams. We played Tottenham, Wimbledon, Norwich, and Burnley. At the end of the day, they're not the best of teams. We need to see him do this against the top teams. I'm not going to get ahead of myself, but I still think this team is going to finish above Tottenham. I still think this team has enough to squeak into to the top 6 places this season, and even at the end of the season, be close enough to maybe try to get something better. But with Arteta in charge, we will still be having ups and downs.
I hear you on that. And there's one question I've got to ask you. Should Harry Kane have had a penalty today from the foul from Ben White? Should he have had a penalty?
Harry Kane should not have had a penalty. This guy's a diver.
Harry Kane was playing.
Harry Kane wasn't even on the pitch half the time. They're trying to say Harry Kane deserved a penalty.
Harry Kane didn't play.
No,
Harry Kane was
non-existent.
He missed a sitter.
Egal, you like playing. I didn't say he deserved a penalty. Was it a penalty? Was it a penalty?
I don't think that was a penalty. I think he was trying to milk it, as he always does, and I think he deserved a yellow card for some of the stuff that he's pulling off every time he's barging into players. I don't think it was a penalty at all. I think we actually deserved the penalty on the other end. Arsenal deserved the penalty. The way David Sanchez brushed into one of our players.
There we go. Egal, you look like you had a really good day today. Thanks for calling in and having your say, mate, and we'll catch up again soon. Top man. Thank you, Egal. There we go. Very, very happy with his team's performance. Totally get why, and fair play to him. There are still a lot of Tottenham fans. Look, they know they were going to lose today, but they did get a goal back. And for me, I have to be honest, it did look like a penalty. But we saw that twice last week when Man United played West Ham. It seems that those kind of penalties now are not being given so far this season. And I'm fine with it as long as they let it happen for the whole season. And remember last year they were giving penalties for those weird handballs? And then it got to like November and they were like, oh, we're going to make them harder to get. So hang on a minute. You can't punish 10 teams in the opening 2 months and then let everybody else get away with it. But they didn't get the penalty. They lost today. Next caller, we're going to go to Spurs fan. Who are we going to go to? We're going to get Henry on to have his say. What are you saying, Henry?
Mate, I gave it all chest, didn't I, Friday night? All chest about the Gambonese of Bonlahor, and he had us on strings. First things first, Nuno out. The moment you buy a £50 million centre-half, who was the best defender in Italy last year and pretty much boxed out Neymar in the Copa America, the moment you do that and play Eric, diabolical diarrhea in front of him, I have nothing on this manager. Nuno out. The performance was embarrassing. All the Arsenal guys just on a minute ago were saying about Kane, he had no service. Tesco Mobile FC. What would Ronaldo do without any service? He's not going to do anything. Literally. He can't. Every time a cross went in, he went way over and he went to either Gabriel or Ben White. But the performance was, I was doing a watch along. I needed about 5 or 6 heart attacks. Gambonese upon the whore, turning up, you know, Saka, they played well. They deserved it. We were toothless, heartless, no passion, no desire. The only players from our team that actually played all right was Eric Dyer, was Heung-min, Son, and Højbjerg. We were second best to everything. But from a neutral perspective, Terry, where do you think we're going? Because we bring in Nuno, who's basically Marco Silva 2.0, who we brought in. I didn't want him in the first place, and now we've got players that don't want to play for the manager. I'll be amazed if he's still here by Christmas.
That's the biggest issue here. The biggest issue is they don't look like they're playing for him. Spurs fans are not going to be happy with pragmatic football, irrespective of the results. Even when you were winning under Jose in the early days of last season, people weren't happy. But you can just tell by the body language, people don't believe in it. And yeah, you started to attack towards the latter end of the game, and you had some success. And you just think if the way you started against Chelsea, you had some success. So this team is capable of attacking and breaking teams down. Like no team this season, for me, has broken Chelsea down as easily as you did in the opening 35, 40 minutes last weekend. So the capability is there, but it's the approach that's needed. And Nuno just isn't doing it. And I think for me, if I was a Spurs fan right now, I would be, and I had any say at the club, I would be going, look, let's look at the cost of getting rid of him. Let's look at the likes of Graham Potter, etc., that are out there who could come to this club, could make us play better football. You know, Brighton probably, in my opinion, are going to go top tomorrow, and they've got the squad nowhere near as good as Tottenham's, and they're about to go top of the league. Imagine that, you know, he's got one of the best XGs in the league because of how they play football. Imagine the chances being created, and instead of Bukayo getting the opportunities, it's Harry Kane and Son. Like, you're going to be flying. So there are options out there for Tottenham. And I said this about Man United, so I'll keep the same energy. This whole give it till Christmas could write your season off. Do it now, and you can make the top four. Do it now, and you can make the top four. Man United can do it now. Well, mate, I don't know. Football is a mad game. Football is a mad game. If you get Graham Potter or somebody playing exciting football, you're breaking teams down, who knows? You've got one of the best strikers in world football in Harry Kane. I know a lot of the comments are saying he's overrated, but he's brilliant. When you've got players of that ilk, you can do anything. In terms of Nuno, you said Nuno out. Are you willing to give him any more time at all?
No. Terry, the North London derby, in my opinion, is the most entertaining fixture in the Premier League. It has everything normally. Red cards, penalties, controversial decisions. Like Kane gets fouled by Ben White. You showed the image a minute ago. Takes none of the ball. It's the same with Man United last week. There should have been 3 penalties. The referees in the Premier League are disastrous. But getting back to North London derby, Arsenal have always been, and they are an elite level football club. My whole life, childhood, Henry running rings around players like Ledley King, and when we had Sol Campbell, and then he turned into Judas and snaked us. But this fixture has always been a very entertaining game. The moment you go into it and you leave our best defender on the bench, is criminal. It's absolutely criminal. We have played 5 games, got minus 5 goal difference, scored 2 goals in play in 6 games. Like, I don't understand where we go from here. We've got Aston Villa in the Premier League next week, who've just come off the back of a Man United win, who are going to be right up for it. Danny Ings, Leon Bailey, players that can hurt us. We've got conference in the week. This club is finished. 3 years ago, we were in the Champions League final against Liverpool. Eriksen, where has he gone? We haven't replaced him. We haven't replaced Moussa Dembele. We haven't even replaced Kyle Walker yet. You know, I'm just struggling to... I don't understand how any Spurs fan can actually be Nuno in.
And the thing is, Nuno, again, is a byproduct of it. You know, you're in the same situation. Everyone's clubs are in different scenarios. But the clubs that are in the mud are the ones who are run badly. Or not run in a way that's going to keep you getting towards Champions League finals and qualifying for the top 4. It isn't Nuno's fault or Jose's fault or even Poch's fault that you didn't replace Kyle Walker, that you haven't replaced, as you say, Dembele, that you haven't replaced the creativity of Christian Eriksen. It's the football club. And this whole sort of, the way you're having the wall pulled over your eyes, and people are like, you know, we've got the new stadium. That's what's cost us money. Well, I'd rather not have a new stadium and you spend the money on players. Like, it don't make sense to me. Like, Arsenal fans are happy today, but they'll tell you they would rather be at Highbury and challenging for titles than in the Emirates winning nothing.
You got EGAL celebrating like he's won the World Cup. You beat us. If you're in the mud, we are below the cement. We are underneath the ground. That's how bad it is at the moment.
You're buried in a flyover by the craze, bro. I hear it. I do hear it. Listen, right, Top Man, stay backstage with me, Henry. We'll get you back on with the panel soon. Top Man, thank you. Rowe here says Arteta, Oli, and Nuno are garbage because these garbage managers, the league is suffering. Get Oli, Nuno, and Arteta out. Then the league will be the best, is what Rowe's got to say. Adam Charles is coming on to have his say next. Panel's coming very soon. We've still got Gunnar Souls backstage, Gunnar Express, Ryan Madden, Adam Clark, Alan Clark, Man Like Brandon, show stars backstage. We've got loads of people to come on and have their say. Stay with us. I'm going to put the link out for you all soon as well. But let's get this past 1,000 likes. Get your friends, get your family, get your mum, get your dad. If you got to get, most of you ain't got girlfriends, I know. I'm joking. Get your girlfriends on. Do what you got to do. Maybe some of you got boyfriends. Who knows? We only have a viewership of like 3% women. So there's not going to be very many of them. Maybe some of you lads have boyfriends. Get them on as well. All welcome on the terrace. Next up, Adam Charles is here. Smash that like and that share button. I've lost my cursor. There it is. Let's go. Adam Charles in the house. What you saying?
I'm good, man. How are you?
I'll be honest with you. I might be off this weekend, so I'm feeling really bitter. But how are you feeling? You just slapped Tottenham. 3 wins in 3. Go on.
I'm relieved. I'm very, very relieved. I didn't really get to have the chance to say anything on Friday on the actual Arsenal Tottenham game, but I wasn't sure what I would have said anyway. I thought it was going to end up as a draw. I thought it was going to be a low-scoring game, and Arsenal have just proven me completely wrong. They came out flying out of the traps, started really quickly, scored goals early, attacked with intensity, played with intensity, and it was just brilliant to see. And by half an hour into the game, we're 3-0 up, and it only makes me wonder, why can't we play like that all the time? That is the lingering question for me. And I think all this Nuno talk that you're saying that he's your friend and you just got to let go of that guy, because he is not it. He is not it, bro. Get rid of that guy. You don't want to be associated with something like that, because that is a loser. A loser.
I mean, yeah. I mean, he done a lot for me in my career, so I've got a lot of respect for the man. But I'm gonna call a spade, brother. And he's doing a terrible job. And the players, if I was to sit down with him privately, I'd be saying, listen, you're only going to damage yourself by staying at a club where the players don't buy into you. You know, we've already seen Jose's gone to Roma. They love what he's doing. Yeah. Roma are killing it because they buy into him. And it's about, sometimes in life, it's horses for courses. And Nuno and Tottenham is just a very, very, very bad match. The fans and the players want to play a particular style. And they didn't enjoy Jose. They're not enjoying. You're not Jose. So at least Jose can go trebles, Champions League, back-to-back Premier Leagues. Nuno can. He won the Manager of the Month once. Whoa, that's it.
That's it. That is it. And the thing for me is, I don't know what's worse. Do I look at Daniel Levy and I say, bro, you are one of the most evil men in this world, because the way he's got Harry Kane like looking, and no one's talking about it. If it's Paul Pogba whose energy is all down and he's deflated and his body language is terrible, if it's Ozil, people are blaming him. That's the first thing that comes out of their mouth. Harry Kane has been playing badly for, I can't even remember how many games now, since Crystal Palace at least anyway. Today was another game where he was poor, really, really poor. So whether it's the mainstream media, whether it's people like you and me, we all need to talk about it. We all need to get it going, because Harry Kane has been shocking for a very long time. And Nuno is not the manager that's going to get the best out of him. But forget about them. Arsenal today, fantastic. Arteta, I think you had a super chat that said the fact that we don't have European football is helping us. And I think that there's nothing that is more true. He's got time to prepare. He's got time to set the team out, really drill into them what he wants them to do. And I think it's really working. Ramsdale, I need to eat my hat, because I thought this guy's been relegated how many times? He's going to be shocking. I still think it's shocking business, the fact that we let Martinez go and got him in for more than I think we sold Martinez for anyway. But I think the fact he's come in, his passing's been crisp. He's looked fantastic. Tomiyasu's been great. ESR was good today. Odegaard, I think, was really good today. So nothing but praise for the team, honestly.
I hear you on that, mate. I did have a super chat saying Roma just lost to Derby to Lazio 3-2. Look, okay, cool. I weren't keeping up to date with it, but they're still sitting 4th in the league and they're 4 points off the top. Like, that's good for Roma. Like, you're not listening to me. If Spurs right now were 4 wins out of 5 and up near the top of the league,
they will take it.
And playing football they were happy with, they'd be happy. Like, Roma are not the biggest club in Italy. Like, for me, I don't watch Italian football, but you got the Milan clubs. You obviously got Juve. In my lifetime, like Lazio have always been seen as a bigger and better club. Do you get what I mean? So they're there or thereabouts. And that's the point I'm making is you got to find someone that keeps your fans happy. Go get Graham Potter is what I say to Tottenham right now. Adam, stay backstage for me, mate. We'll get you on with a panel really soon. Top man. Viewers, let's see what you're saying in the comment section. Referees in the Prem are a joke. I think there's a protocol to stop giving penalties for, I don't know what the word for it is, like light touch fouls. Like for me today, Harry Kane should have had a penalty. I could clearly see Ben White touch him, but it isn't the first one of those types of fouls that haven't been given. So I wouldn't be angry about it. Where my anger would come in is when the league changes the protocol in a month and goes, oh, we'll start giving them now. that's when it isn't fair. If you change a rule at the start of the season, no matter how much of a calamity it is, you can't change it to the end of the season. Because imagine your team loses 6 points because of the rule, and then they change it, and nobody else gets impacted by that rule. I don't get how that's fair. I don't understand the logic of that, but that's just me. A lot of people talking about Daniel Ek being in the stadium today. Look, it could mean everything. It might mean nothing, bruv. You know what I mean? It could mean everything. It might mean nothing. Just enjoy your day. I'll say don't get your hopes up about it. We're going to do one more call, and then we're bringing the panel on. Panel's going to be amazing. We're going to get Tade on. Man like Tade's here with us. Big Arsenal fan. What are you saying, bro?
Hello. How you doing, Terry? You all right?
I'm very, very well. How happy are you with that brilliant win today, smashing up the Tottenham?
Everyone is shocked. Arsenal fans are shocked. I'm shocked about the way we performed. And I'm also shocked about the way Tottenham performed, to be honest. Let me just start by saying Tottenham were very, very horrendous today. They were absolutely diabolical, in my opinion. I don't see how you want to challenge for the title, or you want to be in the top 4 or top 6, whereby you'll be conceding 2 goals from a team as poor as we've been. And those 2 goals were scored without a challenge from any of the Tottenham players. I mean, the goal from Aubameyang, no one challenged him for that ball, for that goal. The goal from Emile Smith Rowe, no one challenged him. It was like a basically free net for them to just tap in and, choose their positions in the net, And I just felt that they were really, really bad, honestly, I was expecting a 1-0 or maybe 1-1. I wasn't really expecting 4 goals in this game because I thought both teams were poor, but I would say both teams kind of surprised me. I was very surprised by the intensity by the Arsenal players. I was really surprised by their hunger. And I would say everyone was really surprised that Saka started. But I would say I was very happy to see 2 people in the defensive midfield position. I've always had a problem with having just either Saka as the DM or Partey as the DM. I always prefer having 2 holding midfielders. That's what I prefer. Yeah. I don't know about other people. And the simple reason is because it brings balance in the team. So I don't care whether it's Xhaka that starts alongside Partey. I don't care whether it's Lokonga that starts alongside Partey. All I want is a personnel next to Partey in that midfield. And I felt that formation for me is what I've always wanted. And Arteta gave me what I wanted. So I was really happy about the hunger from Aubameyang as well. It's almost like Aubameyang knows the meaning of North London Derby. And he was really fighting today, putting in some tackles up front, chasing down players at the beginning of the game. You see the likes of Tomiyasu, for instance. Tomiyasu, who is like becoming a fan's favorite, is always putting in a shift. And today, I would say Ben White was winning a few headers, which he hasn't really proven to me that I can win headers. But I would say today, he was winning a few headers. I don't know whether that's down to the fact that the likes of Kane were really poor today, or maybe it's just because we stepped up our game. Regardless, I am a very, very happy Arsenal fan today.
I bet you are, mate. Listen, thank you for calling in and having your say. I know you're a busy man today. I really appreciate it today. Top man. Thank you. Viewers, make sure that like button's been smashed. Panel coming on. Adam's on the panel with us. Showstar's on the panel with us. We've got Gunnar Souls on the panel. Alan's going to be on the panel. And Guna Express is on the panel. The others, Ryan and Brandon, we're getting you on as callers as well. So stay with us. I've got to pick. I can't. It's hard. There's so many great people backstage. I'm sorry if anybody's offended. Don't blame me. It is my fault because I have to pick. But that's the it's a problem with power, you see. Got this. I'm just fucking about. Listen, smash that like and share button. Panel time, people. Let's go. People selected. There we go. We've got everybody in. We've got Gooners happy. Actually, I've put a lot of Gooners in here and a lot less Spurs. But, oh well.
Just me.
They're bottling it, man. They're bottling it. They're bottling it again.
Alan's got to hold smoke, man. He's got to hold it for his whole team.
Yeah,
I've got to do it for myself.
You're here because of Patrick. You're here because of Tange. You're here because of all of them today.
Eleanor as well. I forgot what Eleanor said, man. Harry Kane and Ben White. Oh, that's a howler, but.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. But look, Arsenal Showstar, first of all, to start with you. I mean, just how happy are you with the performance and the result today?
Oh, you see the happiness, bro. Look at me. I'm dancing to the music. Come on, let's do that. Hey, listen, yeah. I said it on the show the other day, and my prediction was actually bang on today. I actually said it on all the actual shows that I went on. I said 3-1 to Arsenal. Everyone was saying, but you ain't got the goals in you. You man don't score no goals. I said, create chances. Rare tear, tear. My only gripe today is that Emerson Royale never started because I wanted to get cooked. I wanted to see him get barbecued by Pepe, innit? But obviously he never started. But listen, I'm the first one to come out here and I'll say when Arsenal do bad and stuff like that, but literally every single player today was immense. They were brilliant. Like, we took it to them, man. Like, this is an Arsenal performance that I have not actually seen for a very, very, very long while. And I'm actually so proud to be a Gooner today. I know we started the season horrendously. You know, we scored no goals in the first 3 games or whatnot. Remember, Spurs fans were bouncing. They were saying, yeah, like, we're back. We got this. Listen, it's all taken a horrible nosedive, and I'm so here for it. Ramsdale, my keeper, my goalkeeper, you know. Alan, remember when we had that that talk on Spaces, and I was saying that I need to see more Ramsdale because I'm done with Leno. Do you remember? And you were saying, Leno's a better goalkeeper. Now you can actually see what he brings to that defense, how he is playing out of the back. And no, seriously, the confidence in the whole back line and everything is beautiful. You love to see it. Aubameyang, oh my God, that bread was everywhere today. He was pressing like an iron. He's an iron. He was pressing, bro. Love to see it, man. I think if there was one negative I can say is that Kieran Tierney doesn't look like the Kieran Tierney of old. But I don't know if that's because the squad is actually playing better now, or you know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
I mean, it's just not as impactful as it usually is.
No,
I
hear you on that. I mean, look, I'm not going to ask anybody now. You know, if you change your minds about Arteta and everything else, we know that's far too early to kind of, unless anybody like has changed their mind on him in relation to that. The question I would ask, I want to go to Gunner Express about this. Is this like a benchmark now, though? It's a case of, would it be more frustrating if you saw this level of performance today against Tottenham, and then you go for your next 3 or 4 Premier League games and you look like half the side? Is this the benchmark now to say, Arteta, you can do it. You clearly can get the team to play this way. Repeat.
100%. I mean, look, beating Spurs is always going to be something that makes Arsenal fans happy. But Spurs are bad. Like, they are very bad. And I think Alan can probably, you know, tell us all about how bad Spurs are right now. Obviously, a North London derby is always difficult. We always say form's always out of the window in a derby. Obviously, Spurs don't understand what that means, though, because they carried their form into this one. But I mean, yeah, like, for me, it is. You know, this isn't a great Spurs team. It's a team that I expected us to beat. I said 2-0. Obviously, it was a bit better than I expected. But yeah, I think we should be able to beat Brighton next week. And pretty much every team now in the Premier League that's around Spurs' level, we should be able to play like this because we have the players. We have, you know, we spent the money. And a lot of people believe that we have the coach. So for me, if we want to get top 4 this season, which is where we should be, this is where we should be aiming with the players that we have, then we have to be beating teams like Brighton, Burnley, Norwich, Spurs, you know, all these bottom end teams. You have to be beating them at least 3-4-0 maybe. But yeah, I'm happy with the performance today. And I just want to say on what we're saying about the players, Shocks, you got it right about Ramsdale, my bro. You got it so right about Ramsdale. You know, this guy, I was probably the biggest criticizer of Aaron Ramsdale anyone could have found on Twitter, YouTube, anywhere. This guy is quality. He's a quality goalkeeper. I think a lot of what he did at Sheffield and Bournemouth and wherever else, I have to say it's down to his defence. When he's got some good defenders in front of him, Gabriel, Tierney, Tomiyasu, Ben White, he looks brilliant. Like, he's able to do what he wants to do. His kicking is immense. He's playing at the back's great. I think he was a bit unlucky to concede today, but it happens. Do you know what I mean? Like, he's going to concede goals eventually, but he's such a good goalkeeper, and he has proved me wrong. And Tomiyasu is another one. That guy was immense today.
What's interesting about the signings is, again, Ramsdale was one that I thought, did you need to spend £30 million on him? The answer for me right now is actually yes, you did, because Leno concedes that goal right towards the end as an example.
Yeah.
And if that goes in, there's 3 or 4 minutes left, and who knows what can happen in football. But the other signings you've made, like, I remember getting into a row a few weeks ago with an Arsenal account who I'm not going to mention, where I said, it's a mixed summer. I still think you needed a big, I know Maddison hasn't started the season well, but that doesn't mean Maddison wouldn't have done well in your team, i.e. Ramsdale. It was like, Ramsdale shit, look what he's doing in your team. Like, when people say things to me like, Terry, see, we were right not to get Maddison because he isn't performing at Leicester. It's like, well, but you didn't want Ramsdale and you're saying how great he is and he shocks you. Like, your logic is undoing itself here. But the point is, I thought it was a mixed summer because I did think you still needed that marquee signing. But Tomiyasu, when you signed him, I was like the only guy on socials going, why are you all crying? This guy's amazing. Like, I've watched him. I think he's brilliant, right? He's excellent. Ben White, is so much better than anybody wants to. I'm telling you why Ben White got crap. Now, I joined him with the banter because I'm a Man United fan. But the only reason Ben White was laughed at was slightly because of the price. It was a little bit higher, yes. But Ben White was laughed at because he's English. Yeah. If Ben White was any other nationality outside of the British Isles or Ireland, he would not have been laughed at for the quality that he had. This is a player who Bielsa wanted to sign, and everybody raves about Bielsa's ability to pick a star. Liverpool Football Club and Jurgen Klopp wanted him. They wanted him. They couldn't get the deal done financially. They couldn't get it done because they don't spend over a certain amount of money. Ben White is an excellent defender. Is he perfect? No, because he's young, but he's excellent. You've got Lokonga that's going to come through and is going to develop into a very, very good star indeed. And then there was a lot of people, I've heard a lot of Arsenal fans play down. Yeah, well, Tavares is a good signing as well. But then you've also had a lot of Arsenal fans go on about Smith Rowe and Saka not being as good as Gunners make them out to be. For me, no. I can't wait to get Lee Gunner on Tuesday. Remember, Tuesday, 4:30 p.m., me and Lee Gunner going live on Straight Facts. The point is with these two is where those guys have been let down is what you saw improve today. Today, the elder statesmen, the Xhakas, the Parties, the Aubameyangs, etc., stepped up. So the kids could just play their football. When you're relying on your teenagers to be the stars, that's when you're going to fail. Kids should never have that in football. Kids should never have that pressure of being the leaders of your team. It's an abomination to the game to make kids the leaders, the kids the focal point. And for me, that's what I saw different today from any other game so far this season for Arsenal, is your stars stepped up. And that's why, going back to your point, Gunnar Express, Arsenal, they've set the blueprint now. This is the standard of performance. Anything below this now gets criticised. You've shown you can do it. If you want to get back to where you want to be as Arsenal, this is the standard you expect week in, week out. And if you get this 95% of the time and every now and then drop a clanger, Gunners will accept it because that's just football. That's just life. Look what happened with Liverpool yesterday. Pegged back twice by one of the weaker squads in the Premier League. It happens. But no, look, I was really impressed with that today. And some of your signings have had a really, really rough time of things. We're going to move on to Tottenham in a minute. We're going to speak Tottenham. We're going to go to some calls soon. Ryan and Brandon still waiting backstage. I am going to share the link for the viewers to come on as well. But let's get this past 1,000 likes, ladies and gentlemen. Get that smashed. Super Chat here says, to be honest, nothing new with Tottenham. They had their moments under Poch, which was... I can't read that word.
I don't know what the fuck that says there.
I don't. See, sometimes I see them words. Yeah, sometimes I see them words, and I'm like, is that my dyslexic brain or is that the word, right? And they just crap like they've always been, small club. And then we have a comment that says, why are Arsenal fans acting like they won the Champions League? Let's see how long this bubble lasts. Banter clubs is what's being said. But I want to ask this question to you, Alan, about Nuno. Does Nuno deserve tonight, tomorrow morning? Does he deserve his P45?
Leave him at the Emirates. Don't bring him back. Just. I said a couple of weeks ago, Nuno out, and I got criticised saying a bit too early, and now everyone's jumping on. No, he's just not good enough. You go into your first. Arsenal played well. We enabled them. You go into your first North London derby, and you play those awful tactics where it's, I think, 40% of our first, for the first 20 minutes, were long ball to nobody. Then when breaking out, the press was nowhere. They got bypassed so easily. The defence was all over the place. I said last season, Dyer and Sanchez, musical statues at the back. They don't do anything. The cutbacks. Dyer, the first one, is defending outside of the post, near post. The ball's getting cut back into the middle and he's within the 6-yard box. So what's he going to defend if the shot comes off? It's going wide. It's going wide and he's in the wrong place. Absolutely abysmal. I've said from day one, we beat Man City. We got 3-1-0 wins. All Spurs fans were like that. Oh, this is great. This is fantastic. And I came on here time and time again, Terry, saying that be careful what you wish for because all these have been, apart from Man City, those first 20 minutes, they could have been 2 or 3 up and it'd be a different start to the season. They should have got something from that game. We got the 1-0 win. And then against Wolves, we were abysmal. Wolves should have beat us. Watford, we weren't that great. Then Palace, we were horrendous. Nuno didn't react. The first half against Chelsea was good, and then Tuchel decided to tweak something, and then Nuno got found out for the shithouse manager he is. He's a Z-Tech Mourinho. He's Mourinho without the trophies. He's not even Mourinho without the trophies. He's just awful. Get him out of this club.
He's Mourinho with a beard, man. That's what he is.
Yeah, exactly. It gets him out of this club. I don't want him. I want a manager that's just going to come in and play to the players we've got, because at the moment he doesn't know what his best style is, best formation is. Kane should have gone in the summer. Man City should have had him. I'm fed up with him. His attitude. I came in here and said that he'd act professional. He's not acting professional at all. He's got his hand up his own arse and all that, crying about what didn't happen. Absolutely ridiculous. Ndombele, poor. He needs to go as well. His mentality's poor. Dele Alli, shocking. Get him out as well. I'm done.
Oh my Lord.
I'm done with.
Do you know what's crazy though? You keep ringing up. You keep pushing off all these names of talent. You know, Ndombele, record signing. Like the biggest conundrum in football right now is, you know, like, do you remember in EastEnders? Some of you kids might not know this. It was one of the biggest storylines ever in EastEnders was who shot Phil Mitchell, right?
I remember that.
This is bigger now. What the fuck happened to Dele Alli? It's bigger. It's bigger than who shot Phil. It's bigger than who shot Phil.
Where is he, man?
The fact is, the thing with Dele is at his best when he's playing off the striker, running in the box, and we haven't played that way for ages, so he should have been gone ages ago. Daniel Levy decided to come out and say, "Oh, in building a stadium and everything like that, we've lost sight of our own DNA and all that." How about rather than try and make us big off the thing like that, you stop wasting money on stadiums and everything like that, and you put $1 billion into the squad, and you can see that we'd probably win some trophies. Until you do that, you can fuck off. So can Joe Lewis. I'm done with this club. I'm done with it.
There we go. We are going to hear from Gunnar Souls in a bit. I know he's enjoying it being here. We're going to go to some calls first. We're going to get Ryan on soon. I want to bring Brandon on first. Brandon, you must be in a good mood, right? Nod for me if you're in a good mood. I'm going to bring you on first if you sing for us when you're in a good mood. You're going to sing. Oh, come on. He's a good singer. He's a good singer. He's a good singer. We're going to take some calls. We're going to take some calls now, ladies and gentlemen. Let's do it. Let's go. Brandon's here with us now. He's lighting up a cigarette. He looks happy. What you saying, bro?
Good evening, Terry. How are we doing?
He's got that Tottenham pack.
Hey.
Smoke it.
Burn it down, bro.
I'm milking this one today, Terry, because I watched Friday Night Football live on your channel the other night.
That's not the name of the show, but thank you for watching.
I was listening to it, and some of the stuff that them Tottenham fans were saying, mate, I was like, you haven't beaten us at the Emirates since 2010. Where's this confidence coming from? Do you know what I mean? Like, today, I'm not going to... Of course, I'm happy, but I'm not like ecstatic about it because it's a bog standard win against Tottenham at the Emirates. We beat them every year at the Emirates. It's just a fact, you know? I still have question marks over this Arsenal side. Like Adam pointed out earlier, why can't we play like this every week? Now, let's see Arsenal play like this every week. You know, Mikel Arteta's got his players now. It's clear, you know, that, you know, these are his players. He looked like he had a style of play today. The only thing that I question about Arteta today was, you know, I think it was his fault why we conceded that goal, because you could see that players were, you know, out on their feet. And I think he needed to make his substitutions a little bit earlier than what he did. But let's not take it away from, you know, us. At the end of the day, that was the best 45 minutes that I've seen from Arsenal in a long, long time. Mikel Arteta, sorry. Smith Rowe and Saka were excellent. Odegaard as well, Aubameyang, every single player was up for that game today. But again, I'm going to say it, you know, let's see if we can get up for the smaller games. Let's see if we can get up for the games that don't mean as much. You know, I see a lot from these Arsenal players. They get up for the occasion. Can they get up for the other games now? And look, Tottenham were awful. Harry Kane was awful. I don't know what these tactics were by Nuno, but yeah, that like we said earlier, you know, we think we're in a bad place. Tottenham are even worse.
Yeah, and they've fallen very, very quickly. Brandon, great call, mate. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Really appreciate you coming on and waiting so patiently. Really appreciate all your support of the Terrace, mate. Top man. Thank you. Hear what he's saying. Ryan's coming on next to have his say with us, ladies and gentlemen. I want to do a few of your comments that are coming through. One comment here. It was, by the way, Lisa that shot Phil Mitchell. Lisa is she is the baby mum of Phil's daughter Louise, who's currently living in Spain after they tried to kill her baby father. Of her, I watch EastEnders a lot. I love it. It's a great documentary. It's a great documentary on life. Ryan's coming up next. Big Tottenham fan to have his say. Before that, if you missed it, this was EGAL earlier on today. He's loving it. He's loving it. Ryan's here with his big Tottenham fan. What do you want to say, mate?
Oh, that video just upsets me, man. That video upsets me. Listen, well done, Arsenal. Like, Arsenal, you can't fault Arsenal today. They battered us. They absolutely battered us today. I am NunoOut. Whether he's a nice man or like that, the blame still lays with the board. I said this the other day that the board have basically thrown Nuno into the lion's den. The fans back. He's a deadbeat Mourinho. Same tactics. No chance at all. Our two best players, Kane and Son, are not interested at all. There's no interest in them two. Those two are not bothered whatsoever. So I would sack him now. It's not going to get no better. Don't get it wrong. This game today was a mid-table clash. Arsenal fans are buzzing because it's the North London derby. This was a mid-table clash between two poor teams in this game today, but they're the better of two poor teams. There's no every single time. How you can turn up to a North London derby and not just be up for it? Just listening to the Arsenal crowd and everything like that. How can you not be up for a North London derby? I think we had Harry Kane. I think he's the only Tottenham lad in the side today. But when you look at Smith Rowe and Saka, that was the game for them today. Them two wanted to win this game more than anything they've had this season. Those two were dominant today. Those two battered. Smith Rowe, I said in a WhatsApp group that I'm with Alan today, Smith Rowe is Arsenal's danger because he's quality. That lad coming through the youth ranks is quality. Saka is quality. Aubameyang looked like he's never looked. This is the best Aubameyang's looked in 2 years today. His goal was Aubameyang when he first signed for Arsenal. He didn't think about it. He didn't worry about it. He just put it in the bottom corner. The only player, I said two players who played well for Tottenham today was Lucas Moura, who actually got on the ball and tried to get us up the pitch, tried to move us forward, and Brian Hill, who came off the bench. I don't want to see Dele Alli. I don't want to see Dele Alli in the top. He wouldn't get an MK Dons team right now. He would not start for MK Dons the way he's playing for us now. I don't want to see him in a Spurs shirt again. I don't want to see Dyer or Sanchez ahead of Romero, because the first three games, we played City, who didn't have a striker. They had no striker in the side, so those two that was easy enough for them not playing against a striker. Then we played Watford at home, which is a 1-0 win, which is upsetting. Every game those two have played together this season has not been troubling. The first time they've come up against a good striker in Aubameyang, who's got runners beyond him in Smith Rowe and Saka and Odegaard, they've crumbled. They've absolutely crumbled.
I mean, you speak there about being NunoOut, and I get it and I understand it. Like, who would be your choice now, Ryan, to come in and replace him and to improve what's going on at your club?
You see people saying Zidane, get Zidane in. No, there's no chance we're getting Zidane. There's no way we're getting Zidane.
I don't mean to laugh, but fucking hell.
No, that's what I mean. Terry, if you read your comments, bro, you see people saying, sack Nuno, get Zidane. No. Zidane don't even know where Tottenham is. He's not interested in Tottenham. No interest in Tottenham at all. They will sack Nuno. They'll go up to the Sky Studios today and say to Ledley King, do you want to come down, sit next to some other old player that we've had this season, and we'll see where it goes from there. No, they should have gone all out. We had Antonio Conte. We had him. He was there for us. You just agree to what he wants. Give him what he wants. If he wants 2 members of staff behind him, give him the 2 members of staff. If he wants a certain amount of money, give him that money. Our stadium has been built for AJ getting whacked rather than buy players. I mean, you know what? This weekend, Terry, AJ is my favourite boxer. I love AJ. I've had to watch AJ get battered in our stadium, and then I've had to watch us go to the Emirates and take an absolute spanking again.
I know, and we all watch EGAL's voice break live on air. I mean, it's just one of the things that we've seen everything this weekend. Right, Ryan, absolute top man. Thank you for being patient and waiting backstage, and we'll speak to you again soon, mate. Top man indeed. Thank you very much. Top. Listen, I get Spurs fans like frustrations, their concerns, their worries, and everything else in between in relation to that. Gunnar Souls, I want to ask you, mate, because obviously it's been a really important weekend for Arsenal. What next, though? What do you want to see now from Arsenal moving forward?
Beat Brighton. We've seen this before. We've seen us beat a big team, get a good result, and then go lose a game we shouldn't be losing. I think if he beats Brighton, that'll be 3 on the bounce. Then we've got, I think, Villa after that, which is a iffy game. Sorry?
It'll be 4 on the bounce.
Yeah, so it'll be 4 on the bounce. Then we'll go into the Villa game, which we notoriously don't play well in. We've not done well that season. Obviously, it was a 3-0 and then a 1-0. So we could be going into that game 4 on the bounce. Let's say we beat Villa, that's 5. So he can change his fortunes around, and I've said it, we need to be patient because he doesn't have his players. Brentford, he had 2 of his main players drop due to COVID hours before the game. You've got to take context into consideration as well. Going into Chelsea, Man City, he was missing key players. It shouldn't be an excuse. We still should have beaten Brentford. City, Chelsea, fine, okay, they're superior to us. So if we don't have our starting 11, we're probably going to get beat. But it's still no excuse for the performance. Now, he's got his starting 11 back in. He's got the likes of Tomiyasu in there, Ramsdale in there, Ben White's in there, Gabriel's in there, Partey's in there. That 11 today that we've seen is either someone he's bought in or he said, no, I want to keep them at the club. And one thing I do want to say, I want to give praise to Xhaka today because the guy worked his socks off today. I'm not his biggest fan. I still say we need to sell him. We need to bring someone in. But man, did he put a shift in. There were a few moments I was like, if anyone watched the watch along, you could see I was screaming. I was like, "This guy's gonna get a red card," because there was that double-footed thing that he did, and then he dragged. I think it was Ndombele. I was like, "No," because the thing is, whether he gets a red, it's him. It's because it's Xhaka, not because the foul, is a red card. It's because it's Xhaka that done it, and you just get scared. You're like, "Oh, they're gonna pull a red card out on him," and now we've got to go to Brighton. We've got to beat them. Look, for me, he just needs to string wins together. He needs to start going on a bit of a win streak, get some momentum going. We don't have midweek games. We've got no cup competition this week. So he's got Brighton to fully prepare for. Saka looked out of it. Xhaka obviously looks injured, so he might not. Depends on what the injury is when he'll be back. Saka can't play Brighton. I'm sorry, he looked exhausted. He needed to come off earlier.
Sorry, go on, Sals, finish up, mate.
I was going to say, just on the Xhaka thing as well, I think him and Saka went down just before he got injured, before the goal went in. That's when he should have made the substitution. You could see there was something quite not right. Whether it's the same thing, but you could tell he was out. You should have made the
But I suppose that's the benefit for Arsenal this season is there's no game. You've got a week pretty much between, unless it's a League Cup week, you've got a week in between games. So anyone who's dying on their ass today is going to be fine for next week because of that reason. That's where you should be benefit. I get this feeling now. I want to ask you this question, Adam. Will the meltdown next week, if you fail to beat or lose to Brighton, be the biggest yet because of the quality that you've seen today, because of the little hill that you've climbed in the last 3 games? If you then go to Brighton and get outclassed and look poor again, is that when you think you'll just see this element of will you see a bigger meltdown than ever before because you've proven that you can perform?
I don't think the meltdown will be that bad, actually, and maybe I'm being a little bit naive, but I think speaking to a lot of Arsenal fans, people were saying that we needed to get 7 points out of the 3 games from Norwich, Burnley, and Tottenham. I don't even know how that flipping works, but yeah, that's what people were saying, isn't it? So I think the fact that we've managed to get 9 points out of it, to me, would suggest that if we were to lose to Brighton, people would be like, okay, but the situation is better than we expected it to be. I think it's a bit of a weird mentality, but I don't actually think that the meltdown will be that bad. But if I'm honest, I don't really expect us to lose to Brighton because they really should have lost to Leicester last week. And they've had quite an easy run of games. I think they're going to balance out in the next couple of games anyway. And I reckon it will start with Arsenal. So no problem.
I hear you on that. We're going to do a few more calls before we end today, ladies and gentlemen. We're nearly on 1,000 likes, which is amazing. First up, we're going to get Man Like Leaf, a.k.a. Keith with an L on the show to have his say. Smash the like and share button. Let's go. Keith is here. Leaf is here. Sorry, what are you saying? What are you saying?
Yeah, I thought Arsenal were really good. Well played Arsenal. They did really well. You know what's so embarrassing is that I wanted to turn off the game, but then I decided to keep watching because it was the first time in a Spurs game that I can actually get to see good football. So it was really bad, really bad by Nuno. And he has to go. I said this, what's really interesting, I came here after we lost to Palace and I told you, if we keep performing like this, we will be in a relegation battle. And you said, but we won't, but we are.
You think you're in a relegation battle?
Statistically, we have the worst stats in the entire league. Shots taken, chances created, goals conceded, goals scored, everything. We are bottom.
Yeah, I mean that's right. That's true. That's very, very true. I mean, this is probably one of the fastest turnarounds I've ever seen from a fan base to wanting a manager sacked. And the maddest bit is though, I don't feel like it's over the top, and that's coming from someone who personally likes Nuno. I'm sitting here and, sometimes fans go, want him out. And it's like, oh, you're trying to get, I'll get accused by big, gargantuan YouTubers. Oh, Terry, your callers are just trying to get, internet famous. You know what I mean? Why are you having people on trying to get famous for and trend, Terry? Oh my God, I can't believe the Football Terrace allows people to come on and just say whatever they want. I mean, that's the weirdest bit of feedback I've ever had. The Football Terrace lets people come on and say what they want. Like I ring you all before. Listen, Adam, when you come on, bruv, don't give me your opinion. Here's the script. Yeah, Showstar. Listen, bruv. Don't be yourself. Don't be yourself. My dad wrote something down for you. Tell his jokes. It's just mad. You know what I mean? No. But I actually agree. Legitimately, I don't think it's over the top. I don't think it's exaggerated. Nuno has got to be sacked. He just isn't right. He isn't right. I employed someone once, right? And in my old company I used to work for, you had a 6-month probation period. I remember speaking to HR, and I'm like, I've employed someone, but they're an absolute wrong un. I mean, this person was a wrong un. On his first day, he was fighting with people, shouting fights in the staff room because he was challenging 30-year experienced people on processes. And it was like, mate, you haven't even learned to count the money properly yet. He was a cashier in a bank. He couldn't even count the money properly. And he was like, why do you do this way? No, we should change it and do... he was a wrong one, right? He was causing all these problems. And I rang HR and I'm like, listen, I know he's only a few days into his probation. But I was like, what can we do? Well, he's in probation. You can just sack him. I went, really? Just get rid of him? No reason. They went, pretty much. So I skipped. I skipped out of the office. I took him in the back room, and honestly, it was the most. I sacked about 27 people when I was doing leadership, and he was my favorite. I was so happy to get rid of him. I was so happy. And you want to know the most awkward thing? I didn't realize he was from the same part of Leytonstone as me. It's in the pub at the weekend, sitting there. Him and his boys all walked in. I was like, boys, it might get a little bit ropey. Turned out they were all a little bit kind of I knew we were fine when he took his top off and I saw a Dragon Ball Z t-shirt. I was like, oh, good. Do you know what I mean? I was like, man, ain't nothing. He's got a Dragon Ball t-shirt, Dragon Ball Z t-shirt on. I was like, I'm safe. Do you know what I mean? There was me. But now listen, you've got to sack people early sometimes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I can't remember. This guy's name was Darren. He had a weird growth on his chin as well. Darren had to go. Nuno's got to go. Simple and as straightforward as that. He's got to go.
Well, he just said it right now in his press conference. I'm just seeing it right now. Nuno just said, "I got it wrong." He literally admitted it right now on live TV.
Got today wrong or taking the job at Tottenham?
Well, probably both. But he said about the game.
Yeah, I hear you. Listen, Leaf, thanks for calling in, mate, and having your say. Really appreciate it, bro. Thank you. Next on the show, we've got another Spurs fan. Glenn is here. What are you saying, Glenn?
Absolute fucking shambles. That's what I'm saying. Absolute fucking shambles, bro. Why am I still seeing man like Davinson Sanchez and Eric Dyer when we've got Romero sitting there? We've got the Alfa Romero sitting in the fucking garage, bro. And we're not driving it. It's like sick. We'll just take pictures of it and that. We'll just leave it there. Like, what's happening? You tell me, bro, what's happening? Like, oh, I don't know, bro. Like, Emerson's there. Do you know what? We've got so many Spurs fans right now going, oh, Tommy Arce. I wish we got Tommy Arce now instead of Emerson. All the rest of this stuff. It's like, we're just an absolute fucking shambles. That was an absolute shambles of a game. Like, obviously, like, congrats to Arsenal and that, but, bro, we played so shit. We made them look like prime Barcelona. It was actually insane. My thing is, look, end of the day, like, Dyer and Sanchez, we have been saying for years now, that ain't it. So why have we still got them now? Look, we got a new manager in. Did the guy not get briefed? Did he not get told how shit they are together? Like, if you've got yourself options, you've got Tanganga, you've got Rodon. Like, don't get me wrong, Tanganga was right back, cool, but you've got Emerson in now. So maybe shift them over. But you can't be relying on, like, Sanchez and
I have a
There's a
question.
reason. Go on.
So I don't know. Correct me if I'm wrong, but surely Davinson Sanchez is probably your fastest defender, and he probably thought I need pace to deal with Aubameyang. No,
Tanganga's quite fast as well. I'm surprised he took off.
I think
reckon
in terms
he'll
of
be
aggression,
outside, man.
no, but in terms of like, look, so Sanchez is physical, and yeah, he has got a speed on him, but I think in terms of that, like, I would rather just switch it for Romero. Romero's also aggressive, like, and he's clearly more skilled. And look at the way you see what happened there when with that the first goal, like with like Aubameyang, yeah, when Dyer was tracking back now, and he just looked behind and look at where Aubameyang was. He wasn't near him at all.
Yeah.
He didn't know what to do. He was lost.
Yeah.
Like, you're gonna tell me that we had a whole season of that last year. And you're telling me you want that again?
Mate, and do you know what it is for me? Everyone, again, people keep telling me I don't like tactics. I'm like, it's not about tactics. It's about desire. People go, oh, passion, merchant, desire. The reason that Arsenal was so much better today is because they wanted it more. And it's a cliche, but it's true. It's legitimately true. We've all played football sometimes where a team scores, and in your head, you're like, oh, I really tried hard to get back. And you're like, no, I didn't. I was just gassed, bro. I couldn't be bothered. That's the way I looked at Spurs today. There were times where it was just like they weren't running. They weren't prepared to run through brick walls and put their bodies on the line. And you look at Jurgen Klopp and Pep, the most successful managers of the last 4 or 5 years in the Prem. Their players run through brick for all the good, beautiful football, the intricate tactics and all the nuances that football fans love. Hard work and running. Hard work and running, hard work and running, hard work and running. You take those two things away from a Pep and a Klopp team, they don't win anything. Like it's underrated how hard you have to work in football, and it's just crazy. It really is. But listen, everyone who's tuned in, go on, mate. Go on, mate. Go on.
If there's one thing I've got to say, yeah, look, end of the day, we're gonna say Nuno out and all of that, but who's to say that's not even gonna get worse? Obviously, end of the day, he got it wrong, and like he said, he got it wrong, and the decisions he's making in terms of subs, we can see like he's getting it wrong. So Gil, like when Brian Hill came on, cool. When Skip came on, it's like, okay, great, but that's what you do at 0-0. You don't do that when we're 3-0 down to stop the bleed. That to me is telling me that like he's just trying to salvage now. He's like, look, let's just make it as little as you know, soften the blow as much as possible. But look, be careful what you wish for, because end of the day, we got our Arteta now, innit? We got Nuno, we got our Arteta now, and we have been saying Arteta out, but at the same time, they have been saying like Arsenal have been slowly building. So maybe we just have to accept that we got Nuno for now, slowly build and get to something solid, get the next manager in after that. Because saying we want it now, and I don't even know, bro. And I'll say this as well. Look, we're going to lose. I said before, if we lost the Palace, we're going to lose every single London derby. And I'll stick by that, bro. Brentford, we're getting spanked, bro. Pornhub settings.
There we go. Listen, everybody that's tuned in, a massive thank you to each and every single one of you. Sorry to everybody else that's backstage. Hit the like button before you go. Take care. Goodbye. God bless. And I'll see you all again.